Have you ever felt that sacred moment, that fragile instant where everything seems on the verge of happening, and yet something inside you simply breaks? It wasn't weakness. It wasn't lack of preparation. It wasn't chance. It was the ancient whisper of something you've always carried within you, the abyss. An abyss you cannot see, but that guides your every step. An abyss you cannot hear, but that screams from the root of every one of your fears. Since childhood, you learned to fear it, to build walls, to mask it with achievements, with smiles, with fulfilled goals. But the abyss does not forget. The abyss waits. It waits for the exact moment when you are about to take flight, to remind you of everything you have yet to heal, everything you have yet to face. And it is then, precisely then, that you tremble, that you step back, that you falter, not because you are small, but because you never learned how to hold yourself at the edge. Today, we have not come to seek more techniques. We have not come to cover fear with pretty phrases. Today, we have come to walk to the edge, to look it in the eyes, to let the vertigo pierce through us, to surrender, not to weakness, but to truth. The truth that we are greater when we stop protecting ourselves, that we are stronger when we stop resisting. Come, cross the threshold. Let the outer world dissolve. Let every mask fall away. Let there be only you and the endless echo of the abyss calling your name. Breathe, listen, because if you dare to look within, you will discover that the abyss does not seek to destroy you. The abyss seeks to awaken you, and awakening is never gentle, it is never comfortable, but it is real. And what is real, even if it hurts, is the only thing that can truly set you free. It's not the world that weighs you down. It's not the eyes watching you, nor the expectations others project onto you. It's something more intimate, more painful, more secret. It's the reflection, your own reflection. Every time you freeze, it's not the judgment of others that stops you. It's your own judgment. It's that silent voice that has lived within you forever, repeating that you are not enough, that you are not worthy, that failing would be unforgivable. It's that gaze you cast into the mirror every morning, seeking validation, and finding instead an open wound. The true weight does not come from outside. It is born within you. It tangles itself around your chest. It whispers during your moments of glory. It sabotages your brightest days. You are not fighting external pressure. You are fighting the shadow of yourself. And that shadow, fed by old doubts, unhealed wounds, unspoken fears, grows stronger every time you choose not to face it. Every achievement you didn't celebrate, every talent you minimized, every dream you abandoned too soon, became invisible bricks, building a wall between who you are and who you could become. Today, that wall still stands, but it can't hold forever. The reflection that crushes you is not the enemy. It is the part of you crying out to be freed. Don't run from your reflection. Walk through it. Face everything you've denied. And in that moment when fear becomes unbearable, when pain threatens to break you, take one more step, not to fight against yourself, but to embrace yourself like you never have before. Because the reflection that crushes you today could be the very same one that sets you free tomorrow. It's not failure that you fear the most. It's not pain. It's not judgment. It's not the fall. It's something more subtle, more insidious, older. You fear the echo of your own cowardice, that voice that doesn't shout, that voice that barely whispers, yet pierces through every dream, that voice that says, better not try, better not risk it, better stay where you are. Can you hear it? It's there. Every time you stop one step away from the leap, every time you invent perfect excuses, every time you disguise fear as prudence. The echo of cowardice isn't a loud scream, it's a murmur, a subtle weight on your back, an invisible exhaustion, Not from doing, but from holding yourself back. You've learned to live with that echo as if it were part of you, as if resignation were a wise choice, as if giving up before even trying were a way to protect yourself. But protect yourself from what? From failing, from losing, or from discovering that in truth you were always capable of far more than you ever imagined? Because that is what terrifies you the most. Not the pain of falling, but the terror of flying. Cowardice doesn't live in a lack of strength. It lives in the unconscious rejection of your own greatness, in that part of you that prefers the familiar cage over the dizzying freedom of becoming everything you could be. And every time you shrink back, every time you retreat, that echo grows louder, until one day, it becomes the only voice you recognize. But it's not too late. You can still change the echo. You can still transform the whisper of fear into the roar of courage. You only have to take one step beyond the trembling. One step, even if it's small. One step, even if everything inside you screams to turn back. Because the only way to silence the echo of cowardice is to move. In spite of it, it's not easy to bear the weight of existence. Not the weight of doing, not the weight of fulfilling roles, of reaching goals, of meeting expectations. The real weight is something else. It is the silent gravity of knowing you are alive and having no guarantees. It is waking up every morning and knowing that everything you love can be lost. It is building, loving, dreaming, even knowing that everything is fragile, that everything can break in an instant. Nietzsche understood that weight. He called it the eternal return, a brutal question, a sword suspended above our heads. Could you endure living this same life over and over again for all eternity? Could you bear every decision not taken, every fear not faced, every betrayal of yourself? The weight of existence is not carried on your shoulders. It flows through your blood. It hides in the trembling of your hands before a decisive act. It coils around your throat when silence becomes unbearable. It's not the world that demands so much of you. It is life itself, reminding you that every second matters, that every choice leaves a mark, that every surrender weighs heavy, not outside, but within. The pressure you feel in crucial moments is not a trap. It's a mirror that asks you, without words, who are you? When you can no longer run? Who are you when there is nothing left to protect you? The weight of existence is the sacred price of being awake. Don't try to lighten it. Don't try to numb it. Accept its gravity. Let it pierce your flesh, your mind, your dreams. Because only those who can bear the weight of existence without breaking can build something that time itself cannot erase. From the beginning, we were sold a false image of strength. We were told that to be strong was to never tremble, never doubt, never break. They showed us statues of unshakable warriors, leaders with unwavering gazes, heroes without cracks. But it was a lie. Because true strength was never rigidity. True fortitude is not about hardening your heart until it turns to stone. It's the opposite. It's allowing fear to pass through you. It's feeling your soul tremble and still moving forward. Every tear you suppressed, every tremor you hid, every emotion you denied did not make you stronger. It only made you more fragile on the inside. The armor you put on to protect yourself also became your prison. A golden prison, perhaps, but a prison nonetheless. Because whoever refuses to feel also refuses to fully live. False strength is theater, a mask that shatters the moment real pressure appears. And when the crucial moment comes, when life demands truth, not performance, the mask falls, revealing the fear that was never faced. It's not about pretending it doesn't hurt. It's not about faking invulnerability. It's about holding the pain without denying it. It's about walking into the battle with an open heart, fully aware that you might fall, fully aware that you might lose, but also fully aware that your worth does not depend on the outcome. It depends on not betraying yourself, especially when it would be easiest to do so. True strength doesn't shout, it doesn't impose, it doesn't need to prove anything. It is a calm whisper at the center of chaos. It is a flame that burns beneath the storm, even as the wind tries to extinguish it. And that flame, even as it flickers, even as it trembles, does not go out. Because true strength is brutal loyalty to your own essence. Fear is not the enemy. It never was. Fear is the threshold. We were taught to run from it, to numb it, to hide it behind forced smiles, behind packed routines, behind shiny excuses. But fear, like the abyss, always waits. It waits, patiently, silently, at the edge of every important decision. And when it arrives, when it floods your veins, when it makes your bones tremble, you believe something is wrong. You believe you should feel safe before acting. You believe you should wait for calm to come. But the truth is far more brutal. You are not called to defeat fear. You are called to dance with it, to move while your body shakes, to speak while your voice breaks, to walk while the ground disappears beneath your feet. Because fear is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you are exactly where you need to be, at the edge, between who you have been and who you could become. Don't fight fear. Don't try to silence it. Invite it. Extend your hand. And dance. Not a perfect dance. Not an elegant dance. A real dance. Awkward. Trembling. True. Because every step you take, even if it feels small, even if it hurts, even if you believe you cannot go on, will be a step that fear can never erase. And little by little, almost without realizing it, you will stop fearing fear. Not because it disappears, but because you will have learned to move with it. Greatness is not born from fearless courage. It is born from the imperfect dance with fear. And that dance, awkward, brave, brutally human, is what will set you free. All true change begins at the edge. Not in safety, not in comfort, not along well-marked paths, but there, where the ground trembles, where every step feels like a fall, where vertigo coils around your throat and your mind screams to turn back. The edge is not a romantic metaphor. It is brutal. It is raw. It is wild. At the edge, there is no room for masks, no time for excuses, no shelter in illusions. There is only you, and the decision that will mark the rest of your life. Will you retreat into the familiar cage, or will you leap into the unknown night? At the edge, every comfort dies, every fantasy crumbles, and something inside you must die as well. The part of you that bargains with fear, the part of you that collects excuses, the part of you that prefers the sterile promise of safety over the burning risk of being real. But if you dare, if you stay just one moment longer on that unbearable edge, something new begins to be born. Not a polished version of yourself, not a prettier mask, but something radically different. A naked truth, a strength that does not come from winning, but from having been willing to lose everything. The edge does not exist to punish you. It exists to transform you. There is no real evolution without breaking. There is no rebirth without rupture. There is no new life without first passing through the symbolic death of who you thought you were. So stay at the edge. Stay, even if it hurts. Stay, even if you cry. Stay, even if every part of you begs for relief, because the edge that cuts you today is also the edge that is opening you into your own greatness. There comes a moment when resisting is no longer enough. There comes an instant when you must choose something far more radical. Not defending yourself, not surviving, not calculating, but burning, becoming. No longer being the one who waits for the perfect moment. No longer being the one who begs for less wind, less vertigo, less fear. Becoming the storm. Becoming the lightning that does not ask for permission to be born. the spark that does not fear tearing through the darkness. To be the lightning is to act without guarantees. It is to move not because fear has disappeared, but because you have stopped asking for its permission. It is abandoning the illusion of control and merging with the wild energy of the moment. It is letting every heartbeat become an explosion, letting every gaze become a fire, letting every act be a silent declaration. I am here, not to beg, not to hide, but to burn. The lightning does not hesitate. It does not calculate. It does not measure its impact. It simply tears through the night, and in that brief flash, reveals everything the darkness had hidden. This is how you must move. Not as one who bargains with life, not as one who fears judgment, but as one who has understood that the only real betrayal would be to dim yourself before your time. To be lightning is to accept that you will break things, that you will unsettle, that you will change, and that in that brutal transformation, you will find yourself. You were not born to be an echo of someone else's voice. You were not born to be a shadow of others. You were born to set the sky on fire with your own light. You were born to be lightning. And even if it burns, even if it hurts, remember, lightning never regrets having shone. Freedom is not a gift. It is not an inheritance. It is not something you stumble upon by chance along the way. Freedom is torn from within. It is conquered, but not outwardly. It is conquered inwardly, in the darkest zones, in the corners where fear still rules. There is no freedom without burns. There is no freedom without tearing. Because to be free means destroying everything that once kept you comfortable. It means killing the versions of yourself that were built to please, to fit in, to avoid making waves. True freedom does not beautify, it does not adorn, it does not caress. Freedom tears. It rips away your masks, strips away your excuses, lays bare every pretext. And what remains is your burning, vibrant, indestructible essence. Many speak of freedom. Few are willing to pay its price, because to be truly free means accepting that you can no longer blame anyone, not your past, not your wounds, not your fears. Freedom demands the brutal responsibility of being who you are, even if it means walking alone, even if it means burning alive rather than betraying yourself. Freedom burns, because it scorches everything false, and in that fire, it forges you. Do not seek to be free if what you want is comfort. Do not seek to be free if what you want is to be loved by everyone. Seek to be free only if you are willing to lose everything you are not. Seek to be free only if you are willing to burn, because in the end, only those who pass through the fire can walk lightly under any sky. Freedom cannot be explained. Freedom is lived, it is bled, it is breathed, it is defended until the last heartbeat. You have walked to the edge. You have felt vertigo biting into your bones. You have seen the face of fear, not out in the world, but in your own reflection. And yet, you are still here, trembling perhaps, wounded perhaps, but alive, more alive than you have been in a long, long time, because now you know that fear was not the end, that the fall was not a punishment. They were doors, doors that open only for those who have the courage not to turn back. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be ready. You only need to remember who you are. When there is nothing left to protect, you only need to breathe. In the midst of the storm, you only need to take that step, not because you feel no fear, but because you have chosen not to obey it. And in doing so, something inside you changes forever. It's not a scream. It's not an explosion. It's something more subtle. A crack in the old armor. A spark igniting a field. A lightning bolt cutting across a darkened sky. From today forward, you no longer walk as you once did. From today forward, you are no longer the one who fears the abyss. You are the one who chooses to embrace it. You are the one who, even trembling, does not turn back, And in that silent act, you will have begun to claim the only freedom that matters, the freedom to be, the freedom to burn, the freedom to live, for real.